Sometimes, the loneliest games are the ones that make us feel most at peace. Isolation in games isn't just emptiness, it's reflection, a rare, quiet space where we can breathe, think, and just exist. In this video, I want to explore why isolation in games can feel strangely comforting. Now, I don't know if it's just me or I'm a weirdo, but I feel isolation in video games is strangely and oddly peaceful. We come to think that isolation is a scary thing, that being by yourself and being lonely means failure. Or maybe you might feel that being isolated, you feel like you're missing out or there's something wrong with you. When it comes to playing video games, it makes feeling lonely feel okay. Actually, they make it feel real good. Like when I play Journey or Tears of the Kingdom or Shadow of the Colossus, I don't feel just good, I feel pretty darn great. It's like those games found a way to turn loneliness into therapy. Let's be honest, some of us don't do silence really well. We fill every second with something like podcasts, TikToks, doom scrolling, but when you load into a game like Metroid Prime or Journey, that noise disappears. Suddenly it's just you and whatever alien planet, desert ruin, or floating island you happen to be stuck on. And once we enter those worlds, something shifts. The quiet stops being threatening and starts being soothing. Isolation in video games doesn't just exist for atmosphere. It's a design choice, a statement. Take Shadow of the Colossus. You spend most of that game wandering across empty fields with nothing but your horse, a sword, and your thoughts. And yet, it's gorgeous. That emptiness makes every sound, every hoofbeat, every gust of wind feel sacred. In Metroid Prime, Samus explores a world that feels hostile, uninhabited, and yet weirdly comforting. There's no dialogue, no squad mates, just ambient hums, eerie echoes, and the rhythm of your own movement. Then there's Tears of the Kingdom. Hyrule feels more quiet than ever. You climb a mountain, and instead of an orchestra, you get a single piano key. You're not really told where to go or what to do. You just wander. And somehow, that wandering feels very soothing, very calm. It's kind of like a meditation in a way. Like, I'm not sure what I'm gonna find, but you know what? It's okay. As to why isolation feels comforting, there's this irony. I feel like the more alone I am, the more connected I am. In Journey, you begin completely alone. You walk through endless sand, unsure what the point is, but every step feels meaningful because you're the only one taking it. Same with Tears of the Kingdom. You're just thrown into the game and do and go wherever you want. As we get older, we end up losing touch with our friends, with our family maybe, even ourselves. And as a result, we feel more isolated than ever before. Everyone's busy, or if you're in my situation, all my friends have families, I hardly get to see them anymore, so I'm just stuck here playing video games, crying myself to sleep most of the time. But that's what makes these games so powerful. They don't punish you for being alone. When you're wandering around Hyrule or the ruins of a dead civilization, you're not missing out. You're reconnecting, exploring a lost world. Same thing with Metroid Prime. Being alone isn't failure, it's discovery. Every scan, every new room, every secret tucked in some corner. It's you learning to trust your instincts again. That's the comfort of isolation. These games are teaching you that it's okay to be alone, and it's actually quite peaceful. Isolation in video games makes connection have meaning again. When you spend hours in silence, it makes the smallest human connection feel profound. A great example of this is in the video game Journey, when another player randomly appears. There's no username, no chat box. The only thing you have in common is a shared path. You don't know who this person is, but you feel something. In Metroid Prime, every alien artifact in every ancient ruin tells a story of a civilization long gone. You're technically alone, but surrounded by echoes of others who once were. And technically, you're surrounded by hostile creatures trying to kill you. But still, it's a reminder that even in isolation, we're not completely alone. The paradox of isolation is that it makes you feel connected by removing everything else. No social features, no constant chatters, just you and a world that makes everything feel alive and meets you halfway. In Shadow of the Colossus, the more you wander, the more attached you become to that quiet emptiness. You begin to understand that silence isn't loneliness, it's peace. It's space to reflect, to think and breathe. And maybe that's what we're craving with the world obsessed about being online. These games give us something rare, just a place to exist. And not every type of isolation has to feel heavy or feel vast. It could be small and cozy. And that's where cozy games come in. Think of games like Stardew Valley. You're still isolated, but it's the kind of isolation where you can hear the rain tapping on your cottage roof, or where you spend an afternoon fishing, gardening, or rearranging furniture for no reason except that it makes you feel happy. Cozy games are all about safe solitude. They remind you that isolation doesn't have to mean emptiness. Cozy games take the heavy and vastness of games such as Shadow of the Colossus or Tears of the Kingdom and shrink it down to something more more human-sized. And that's why cozy games fit perfectly into this idea. They turn isolation into something more, well, still isolated, but warm and fuzzy. But here's the thing, these games aren't silent. Not really. It's the video game's music that makes the isolation feel heard. In Tears of the Kingdom, the soundtrack barely whispers. A single piano key rings out while you stand at the edge of a cliff, staring at the world below. Shadow of the Colossus does the opposite. Most of the game is dead silent, the wind doing most of the talking. But then, when you find the Colossus, that orchestra erupts. You go from quiet loneliness to emotional chaos in seconds, and when it's over, that silence returns. Metroid Prime's music sits somewhere between the two. Every echo and drone reinforces the fact that you're alone on a planet that doesn't care if you survive. And somehow the strangeness becomes soothing, like a lullaby for explorers who thrive in the unknown. And then there's Journey, which depending on where you are has different vibes. I think the best part is the soft rising theme that builds as you climb that final mountain. It's the sound of being alone transforming into connection, the moment isolation becomes transcendence. These soundtracks don't fill the silence, they shape it. As someone who's spent a lot of time alone by choice, I think that's why I gravitate towards these games. They remind me that being alone isn't the same as loneliness. It's the difference between silence and emptiness. When you play something like Tears of the Kingdom or Journey, you realize that solitude can be beautiful. It's not about escaping people, it's about reconnecting with your own rhythm, the rhythm that can be drowned out by everyday life. So maybe the comfort in isolation isn't about the solitude itself, it's about the reflection that comes with it. These games just don't let us be alone, they help us understand what that means. Isolation connects us because it strips everything else away, until the only thing left is the truth about who we are, what we value, and what we need. It's not loneliness, it's clarity. Because sometimes the best connection you can make is the one that happens when no one else is around. If you feel isolated because you feel too old playing video games, then check out the harsh reality of playing in your 30s right here, and I'll see you in that video.